This is my APD application. You see? This is the APD application. Yes. And this is not the Medicaid application that I also had to submit. This is just APD application.
For you?
Me printed it with my own paper that I paid for. Okay, and ink.
So I'm gonna do this part.
A lot of tedious stuff for the application. Initially, you have 2 applications you have to put in. You have to do your initial letter of intent to APD to say you want to open a group home. Then they will forward you back the application that you have to fill out. And in it, they want background checks, local and federal. They want 3 years driver's history, a budget, bank statements. Whoever else is currently employed, they need all the same documents for that person. It's a lot of stuff. And then once you submit that, you have to submit roughly the same amount of information to Medicaid for that application to get a Medicaid number. And then after you've done both, you'll get your approval, you'll get your Medicaid ID number and your approval to be a provider for APD. Then you do a whole nother round of the same amount of documents to license the property. So you can become an APD provider and provide services and go out to the community and provide services, but then to have your own group home, that's a whole nother application process just to license the house. And depending on the type of patient you have, you may or may not need fire sprinklers and a smoke alarm, which we had to install here. All these pipes poking out, that's the fire sprinkler system. Because we have non-ambulatory clients and they can't get themselves out of the home on their own in less than 3 minutes. So you have to be able to stop a fire. I think when you first submit it, they got like 30 days to get back to you after you submit your initial letter of intent. And then when you get the application, it's up to you to complete everything and submit it whenever you're ready. So the timeline is dependent on you, but like their review timeline is gonna take them at least 30 days whenever they review something. That's why we were so scared when they called and said we weren't approved for LPN services, because if the timeline took anything like the regular application, we were So this is Eva's file. And in it, we have her local background check, her diploma or license, whatever that is, and an attestation of good moral character. This is her saying she's not a She has to sign any licenses like CPR, basic life support is in there. Her employment application, references to go with the employment application, resume, which will serve as like proof of experience, and then certificates for all of the trainings that had to be completed on the online train site, Train Florida, as well as the train transcript showing all of the courses that she took ahead of time. There are probably like 7 mandatory courses that everybody that works in an APD home has to have. So on the file, we have to have proof that they completed all of that. And then any license or certifications that she has. So the one thing missing from here is your federal background. She needed a level 2 background. I need a W-4 on her. So employee documents go in 2 places. One folder will be the employee folder that's in the house. So anytime somebody comes to do an inspection of the house, you're supposed to hand them that binder. But then I have to have a separate folder on all employees that has their HR documents. So each square will represent a patient. That top middle square will be like emergency contact numbers, important info to know that's just general to the house, and then each square will be patient specific. So our first patient is coming, we'll blur that name out. So all of his stats will be there, his medications that he takes, all in that square. It's like a quick reference, but he'll also have like a physical chart in his room. And these little things with all of his information too, in his room. I've just made my employee file. It's this thick. This has to be in a book at all times. At any time, somebody from APD or Qualrent, I can never say that, can come to do a visit at your house, and your files have to be together. So every employee has to have a file with all of the required documents, like on this checklist that APD provides you. So on it asks for your employee name, date of birth. I use an ID for that. So the first page, that'll give my employee name, date of birth. It's also going to ask for educational requirements. So in my case, I have a copy of my unofficial transcript in here. If I was a nurse, I would have my nurse's license or degree in there as my educational requirement. It also requires a driving record for me for the last 3 years because we're approved for transportation services. So that will be in my file, but in everybody else's file, I'll just mark that as NA because we're not offering transportation right now, and none of them will be driving a patient around. Because I already had it printed out, I'm including the registration of my vehicle and the insurance. And then I have my attestation of good moral character. Basically, whatever date is on the form, that's the date that I'm filling out on the checklist, confirming that I have it. Then I have to have a local background check. So whatever city or county you live in, you have to have a local background check for that. Then you get a level 2 black background check from the agency. So that's that. I'm eligible. Then you have to show that you've added yourself to your employee roster, which is a printout of the employee roster. I need to update this with our current one. Print current. Because y'all gonna need this too. Then I have to have 3 references. Everything else now is gonna be like trainings, licenses, certifications. So this is like my job description and me signing off saying I have the ability to do these job duties. Then they ask for ability to do job. Also, as a part of that, I include my resume because that's my ability to do the job for whatever reason, my experience. So that's what I use for that. Then I have all the certificates from Train Florida for all the trainings I had to do online. You put those. Not every training course provides a certificate, so you also have to print out your train transcript, and this is about 5 pages showing all of the courses that I took on train related to APD stuff, which is zero tolerance, direct core competencies, HIV/AIDS, and HIPAA. Zero tolerance and HIPAA, I believe you have to do every year, where the other ones are like every 2 years or so. I also had to sign off on this list. Does it say sexual activity? Yes. Our home had to create a sexual activity policy, and every employee has to sign saying they understand it, they read it, and agreed to it. And then I have my CPR, first aid certificates, and basic medication administration. So that's my complete file. I'll put a link below with this checklist for all the things that you need in an employee file. But, and you can record those things when we have those conversations because
I don't think it's set.
it's multiple businesses happening. Unfortunately, such is the story of my life.
And which business is this?
This is Airbnb. The soap is still at the house, so if you're coming out today, you have to bring it. If not, I'll bring it tomorrow. So this used to be an Airbnb, even though we shut this one down, we still have the other ones. And we still have to manage that, huh?
How many other ones do you have?
Over here, 4, 5. Okay, shit, I don't know.
And do you plan on converting
Yeah,
all the properties or?
everything in Orlando. So in the city of Orlando, they require you to live in the property and be an on-site host. I don't got time for that. So all of the properties here, we're gonna switch to group home. This was the first one, and once this one is full and we feel comfortable, then the house around the corner will turn.
And are all the other homes suitable to be turned into a living facility?
Yeah, enough. I would just have to add fire sprinklers if I'm gonna do bed-bound people. But, you know, I could choose to do a different client if I don't want to do that.
So were all the homes essentially in the same area, or was it kind of?
Yes, because I knew this area. I knew what rent I could get. I knew the clientele that would come here. So you go for what you know. And that's it. Why make it complicated? And our first employee file is in the folder. This is the consultant that's we're supposed to have all the we're not supposed to be here making forms and scrambling trying to figure out where our forms at. We were supposed to already have gotten them from the consultant. So I called him to try to figure out, well, where is that? Like my website, all of the stuff that you were supposed to do. Where that though? But when you pay a consultant to help you set up your agency or whatever you're doing, make sure you get what you pay for. So he helped us complete the application for APD, to complete our application for Medicaid, gave us the policies and procedures, like the forms and stuff that we needed, because I didn't want to figure it out. So he helped with all that. APD is the Agency for Persons with Disabilities, so they will pay you to offer residential services. But you have to have a Medicaid number to receive that, because who pays APD is Medicaid. So it's like a funnel. I'm going through APD, and although APD is paying me, they're paying me with Medicaid dollars. So you have to apply and become a Medicaid waiver provider to be able to receive your payment from APD.
And so this is APD is more of a longer process to get paid. I'm actually leave that more.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, because if
Versus
it's personal or private pay, like you're setting the terms for that payment. Because you're getting paid through Medicaid or a state agency, they will set the terms of, okay, if you submit this day, then this is how many days it'll take us to process the payment or send it out. So really the first 90 days, we ain't gonna get paid for the first 90 days. It could take longer sometimes if you did something wrong or you don't fill out everything you're supposed to.
So why did you do it?
It seemed like a good idea at the time. It seemed like a smart way to increase earnings on the property.
Don't be looking over here like that. I'm doing this for you. Be mad. Be mad.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, there's a lot more. This is not passive at all. This is a whole new business with liability and employees and customers, and it's all so stupid. So stupid. Why? Why did I do it? I hope that this time next year I will understand the why. At least my bank account will understand the why. I don't know. But right now, this is the day of doubt. We just go ahead and have this whole day of sadness and doubt
It's like the imposter syndrome. That's when stuff is about to happen. That's like when that kicks in your brain sometimes. And
it's not imposter syndrome. I don't know what the like, it's not a syndrome, it's a condition. It's real. I don't know anything, but I have to learn on the go. The difference about this, learning on the go is fine. The difference is a life is involved with this one. So you have the life of the client, and then you have the lives of the employees. So before, I can learn on the go on a rehab project because whatever, right? Like, it's my money that I lose, it's my time that I waste. I can deal with that. There are too many other people involved to be comfortable with failure. It's just so sad. I was so happy last week, wasn't I? Oh. I think that's where the fun starts. The building the business, the putting it together, and then the moment the operations start, that's when I'm done. I'm over it.
So you like the challenge then? The challenging aspects of getting it going?
It doesn't feel challenging. It just feels like I'm working on a puzzle. Or some Legos or something, you just put it together. So it doesn't feel challenging. You just, something to do. And once it's done,
You move on to the next puzzle piece.
that's what I want to do. Yes, that's how I like to roll. Like, okay, I've done this. I'm good. I'm over it. Let's do something else. I don't necessarily want to be in the day-to-day. But, motherfuck. Right now, I'm trying to figure out, where do I build? I don't know. No idea. How am I finding that out? I don't know. No idea. I don't know what I've done, but I've just clicked something and I'm into somewhere that I've never seen before. But I've been in here before because it has all my information, so maybe I'm supposed to be in here.